I met him, already was the foulest mouth in our Orlando, Florida suburb. And Parke, at the drop of a hat, could swear a blue streak. To the astonishment of his mother, to my mother, to me, a kid who couldn't say "geez" in the house. And I thought, man, this guy must know some kind of secret thing, that he can say all this. But really, this is Parke at its natural state. I mean, this wasn't any regular kind of child swearing. Most children swear in a way that they're imitating movies, they're imitating adults. Parke was swearing in the most strange and productive ways. And to this point now, just looking back on it, I can see that already for this 4-year-old, the word was his medium. There was something vital in him that he was trying to get out. He was just grasping at whatever words. This is before we could read. He was just grasping at whatever words he had to pull these things out of himself. Much later in our lives, Parke, after he started reading a lot of William Burroughs, told me about something Burroughs wrote, which was the word, this concept of the word being a virus. The word being something that people are gritting their teeth out here. No, well, I guess what I'm getting at is if the word is a virus, if you follow me on that, I would like to present to you a man who has been weaponizing that virus for the past 24 years. Parke Cooper, everybody.
Hey y'all, let me wrangle this beast real quick, hang on. Sorry, I'm a tall one, so, okay. Got it. Yes, great, awesome, thanks. Okay, well, I got two, Andrew, that was brilliant, thank you. I got two flash fiction pieces for you guys tonight, they're brief. The first one I'm gonna read to you was written for the, what am I trying to say here? The Sonora Review Such Waltzing thing. Kim Stoll's my partner. I suggest you guys check it out because she's brilliant and she's already at an age younger than I. She is more decorated in the art than I am. So here's to her. But this is called The Dividing Line. For this guide to work best, you should be driving along a rural highway, ideally a forested one at approximately 5 p.m. Geographically, the American Northwest is preferable in spring. When the blonde girl with the orange lipstick reclining in the passenger seat calls out, snaps awake, screams, that is your cue. She'll say something like, "Oh my God, stop, a deer, oh my God," or possibly, "A fucking deer, stop, stop." You must be ready. Don't let her startle you. Taking your eyes off the road at this moment could be catastrophic. Just remain cool. Let her scream. Keep your hands on the steering wheel. At 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, as you were, you must remain calm. If you follow my advice, you will make it out of this unharmed. Deviate from my instructions for a moment, and the laws of the universe will make you pay for it. Listen and follow. When the deer, a fawn, stumbles out into the road, into your path, loping along with a weird gait, you must sternly, with strength and will, apply the brakes. With alacrity, ease the wheel to the left, staying constantly aware of the animal in your path. This will take you into the oncoming lane. You will pass over the dividing yellow line. Once you have passed the deer, re-enter your lane by pulling the steering wheel to the right, guiding your vehicle back over the dividing yellow line. The blonde girl may lunge for the wheel if you do not react quickly enough. She may lunge for the wheel regardless of your reaction time. Be ready for her. Remain vigilant. With both hands on the wheel, she will not be able to overpower your grip. Do not honk the horn at the deer. This would only cause the animal to stop in the middle of the road, and your control of the vehicle would be compromised. Let's summarize. Be ready. Do not be startled. Keep your hands on the wheel. As you brake, ease the wheel to the left around the errant deer. If she reaches for the wheel, do not let her jerk the vehicle out of your control. Do not utilize the horn, pass the deer, pull back into your lane, tell her to calm down. If you want to see some shit, look off to the right, off the highway, up the embankment. If you're under the ideal circumstances for this guide as per my recommendation, you might catch a glimpse of 3 to 4 other deer, 2 adult, 1 male, 1 female, 1, possibly 2 fawns, likely female. They will be gazing down at you, not at your car, you, your face, your eyes, their eyes meeting yours. Still and silent as they are, they're thanking you for sparing one of their own. Relish this moment, and that is all it will be, a moment. You have precious few seconds of line of sight to this cadre before they disappear between the trees. That is, if you followed my instructions to the letter and you've successfully avoided it. But let's get down to what really counts. Why you're really reading this, whether or not you realize it yet. That was the easy part. This is where things are going to get much more difficult. Did you feel that? That was it. That was the dividing line. From here on out, it is harder. Something that the laws of the universe have absolutely no hand in. The blonde girl with the orange lipstick is going to leave you. I know. I'm sorry. I've been there. I can no longer promise that following my advice will get you out of this unharmed. All that we can do together, with my expertise and your execution of my instructions, is to mitigate some of the damage. Some night, maybe tomorrow, maybe a month from now, maybe tonight, she's going to get into bed next to you and she's going to say, I know you keep saying that I'm the only one for you, but I'm just not with you. Where you take it from there, how you handle it, that's up to you. I know that sounds harsh. I'm not leaving you in the cold here, but we all deal with things differently. Okay, I kind of am leaving you in the cold, but I can't tell you what to think or how to feel. I can only tell you what to do. And when it comes to a breakup, no, a collapse of that caliber, I simply can't advise you. I can tell you to do 100 different things, but none of them would help. Nothing would drag you back up out of the ditch and bring things back the way they were. Once she gets into the bed that night, breathes that first syllable, you're done. There was no changing her mind. Trust me, I tried. You'll wonder why she chose that night, why she delivered it with such nonchalance. I know I did. I know what you're thinking. No, I don't have an answer to that. Does anyone? Will they ever? I tell you what. After you've had a long time to think about this, you write me a guide. We'll compare notes. Maybe between the two of us, we can patch something together that will, I don't know, get us both up out of here, out of this, back to the dividing line, and maybe, if it's good enough, we can save a few others along the way. Look, I never said this is going to be easy. Right. This next one, this, in keeping with the theme of WIP, has never been seen by human eyes, or heard by anyone. Well, aside from my eyes, so. This one is called Chad Alone. I imagine that the base of Chad's version of Maslow's hierarchy of needs didn't feature air, water, food, shelter, or sleep. It featured instead Tesla coils, orgone generators, reference books on the Freemason conspiracy, and unmarked bottles of prescription drugs. A complete system of eccentricity. I'd once watched him eat an entire Amanita muscaria mushroom cap, 4 inches in diameter, highly toxic, and he had me waiting in the wings with extract of milk thistle in case things got out of hand for his liver, his words, and I'd asked him, what does it taste like, man? And with a mouthful of frothy red mushroom skin, he choked out these words, elixir of God. I could tell by the look on his face that it didn't taste like the elixir of God. And that was the end of his shamanistic pursuits. He was the kind of guy who would rewrite the Gettysburg Address as a clown shoe-shaped concrete poem and frame that shit on his wall. He actually did that. I mean, he was just strange. You know the kind, I don't have to spell it out for you. But the last time he called me, he sounded really excited. He usually called me when he'd made a new discovery. He always referred to these things as discoveries, but usually it was something wacky that he'd merely found out about that somebody else had truly discovered. That evening, he was all like, dude, I've done it. I finally nailed it. I fucking got it, dude. You've got to come over here, drop what you're doing. I don't care what it is. Just get over here right now because this is it, my man. This is it. This is the big one. Truth be told, I almost didn't answer the phone when I saw that it was Chad calling. I was in the middle of the season 6 finale of Magnum PI, and I was pretty into it. I decided that a compromise was best. So I finished watching the episode, jumped in my car, and arrived at his house just as the sun was setting. His car, which was a black 1989 Toyota Tercel with Eat the Rich spray painted in gold letters across the hood, sat in the driveway, wrapped up in white sheets. I walked right in the front door. He always leaves it unlocked. I thought you'd never come, dude. What took you so long? Chad said. I told him that I had Tom Selleck over for dinner, and he shrugged. I'm not sure he got it. You're just in time, actually, he said. Everything is in place. And I asked, what's with the car being wrapped up? He looked me right in the eye and he said, I've mummified it so that it can accompany me into the afterlife. I mean, I laughed my ass off. Him talking like that was just his sense of humor. I didn't realize that he was serious. He was wearing nothing but a red Speedo, you know, just a little thing that looked like edible underwear or something. And he goes and he stands in this big wooden washtub in the middle of his kitchen floor. He looks around at the kitchen a little with his hands on his hips, like he's sizing up the place. But he's lived there for a decade. And he looks at me and he says, now watch this. And I don't know, I made a stupid joke, I don't remember it. It was something about stomping on grapes to make wine or something. He looked like an old-fashioned vintner that was naked. But he looked super serious, so I shut my mouth. And then after a minute, I asked him, what am I supposed to be watching for? And he says, the denouement. And he does this little theatric bow thing with one hand twirling, right? And then he starts to melt. Slowly at first. I don't know what I'm seeing, yeah? It just looks like he's sweating at first, but he's melting. Like a candle, like wax. He's melting. I got dizzy. I couldn't parse what I was seeing. But Chad, he was melting. He was getting shorter, his arms were getting longer, dripping, his features were all running together. And finally, I came to my senses and I shouted at him like, Chad, you don't have to do this, man. What are you trying to prove? Why? And with what's left of his face, he smiles, and that was enough to really send the bile shooting up into my neck, right? He smiles and he says, fuck the world. And he melts until he's just a pool of slop in a washtub, and the color of his remains are like nothing I've ever seen. He melts. The red Speedo floats up to the surface. It was a closed casket ceremony, of course, and his parents, he was an only child, his parents were there, his mom is bawling in his dad's face. It was just this frozen mask of like uncomprehending fear or something. The priest is up there at the podium and he's saying, Chad was taken from us too soon. Too soon, he was too young, he was taken from us too soon. Too soon. He's pounding his book. He keeps repeating that over and over, too soon, and the guy's just not helping. And I couldn't take it anymore. I stood up and I said, no, fuck that, fuck you. Give me that microphone. So I went up there and I snatched the mic out of the priest's hand and I said, no, you weren't there. You didn't know Chad. I was his closest friend and I know. Chad was a visionary. He may be gone and that's terrible and I miss him, but he's become something better than a man now. He's become a pioneer. Just think about what he's accomplished for a goddamn minute, okay? Hear me and think. Chad invented a brand new way to die. A brand new, completely original way to die. Never in the history of the human race has anyone ever decided to melt and pulled it off. His conviction was so strong. He believed in himself so much that he did it. Chad did it, alone. He invented a new way to die. And for that, he's a better person than I or any one of you will ever be. I looked at his mother. She was still crying, but she looked back at me right in the face, and I could see in her eyes that she was proud of her son. Thank you. Thank you.